Hello, I'm DCrowell for Money Matters. I'm the Senior Regional Manager for Mortgage Network, so my specialty, the thing that I do with most of the hours of my day are mortgages for residential property. The larger scope of who I am is somebody who's interested about the world. I've lived all over the world and all over the United States. I have a passionate interest in economics and politics and history. And all of that leads me to Money Matters, the purpose of which for me is to look at what's going on in the world, what's going on in the country, and try and make sense of it and distill it to terms that make a difference for people living in Beaufort County. So that's an ambitious agenda, but every week that's what I try to do. Today my partner in crime, Emily Johnson from Polaris Capital Advisors, who is a knowledgeable financial advisor. She will be doing the other half of the show, and you have either just seen her or you will see her momentarily. She will be taping immediately after me or before me. Here's what's, today is the 19th of January, and here's what's going on. The budget for the United States has been postponed since October, when the new budget year, the United States runs on a fiscal year as opposed to a calendar year. And the budget has been postponed now for almost 3 months. There's a problem with that. The problem is that, as anyone who receives money from somewhere else can readily appreciate, if you don't know how much money you're going to receive, then you can't plan. And planning is really what the huge institution of government really is all about. The U.S. government is a $3 trillion business, and it's a business that cannot be run on guesswork. Every department in the government, Veterans Affairs, the military, the education functions of the government's support for police departments all over the country, support for fire departments all over the country. I mean, literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of decisions are on hold because there is no budget established for the current year, almost 1/4 of which has passed. Republicans and Democrats are at a standstill in Congress, a standstill, an impasse, a blockage that has been going on really since the beginning of the Obama administration and continues now into the Trump administration. The political background to that impasse is really fascinating, but not the topic of this show, and not the topic of this conversation. The focus that I'd like to bring to it is, what are the consequences of this impasse? And the consequence is enormous. Basically, the the business of the country, the business of the business, this largest of all enterprises, cannot take place without the ability to plan. Orders can't be placed for fire trucks. Orders can't be placed for military equipment. Orders can't be placed for MRI machines for veterans' hospitals. And multiply that by hundreds and hundreds of thousands of other instances of capital equipment that is in the works or in the planning stages but cannot move forward. Another huge arena of consequence is personnel. Staffing at every level of every government institution cannot go forward without a budget, because each of the staffing positions requires an existing budget in order for contracts to be written and hires to be made. The U.S. government is compared to a massive company, but it's different in many respects. The constraints on the U.S. government are greater than the constraints on a private business. Private business can hire based upon its plan. If its plan doesn't work out or circumstances for the business change, then 3 months later the private business can lay people off or let people go. Personnel decisions, although expensive and although they're carefully made and rule-guided to a great extent, they are nowhere near as rule-guided as government personnel decisions. Government personnel decisions tend to stick. Someone hired does not just get let go a short time afterwards. So the government's in a real fix. Now the budget impasse exists today, January 19th, and I will not know as I conclude this show what the outcome will be. But as of this moment, it's an absolute block. Two things will emerge from it. One is, whose fault has it been for the delay? And if there is an actual government shutdown, whose fault will it be, and where will the finger be pointed? Already the finger pointing has begun with the leaders of the Republican Party blaming the Democrats, and the Democrats saying, hey, you guys control the show here, any shutdown is your doing. So it's going to be very, very interesting in the next 24 hours, and you, the viewers, will know what the outcome is by the time probably that you see this show. The damage, however, is very, very great already, with a quarter of the year passed without any palpable budget. In the meantime, the economy is continuing to grow. We are at approximately 3% growth at the moment, and the job numbers continue to be strong, quarter over quarter, month over month, for a very long time now. The economy's tightening up, and we are seeing, in my business, we are seeing real increases in interest rates for the first time in a very long time. The jumps are going to, I'll tell you what it is, but it sounds like only a little bit, but it's really a lot. Interest rates have gone from 3.875% a couple of weeks ago to 4.25% today. 3.875 to 4.25, and they appear to be headed a bit higher. Now is the time, if you haven't already done so, to call Mortgage Network or to call your favorite mortgage person and do any refinancing that you might have in mind. Okay? This is DCrowell for Money Matters, and I look forward to talking about the budget and the consequences of the budget next week when we know what actually happened. Thanks.